Thank you very much for joining me, both Alex Kenton and Louis Fairhurst, ahead of this bout on the 11th of April. Looking forward to it a lot. Louis, I'll start with you. Talk to me a bit about how this fight came together.
Josh offered us the fight. Alex has moved up a weight class. He's in the 55 division now. Never say no to a fight, and yeah, that's how we got here.
Alex, moving up a weight class, do you feel like you're trying to find exactly what works for you at the moment?
No, not really. I think we've got a good formula. Anyway, to be honest, I probably should have moved up 12 months ago, 18 months ago, because I got to the point where I was stripping my body to get down to 53. Do you know what I mean? Like I was way too heavy, and my nutritionist was saying, "Have you not thought about moving up?" But I was making it. It wasn't easy, but I was making it. Do you know what I mean? I thought, and then after the Alfie fight, we thought, let's just give it a go. Do you know what I mean? I'm 25, so I'm not 18, 19 anymore, where I can just strip myself easily. It is getting harder, but no, we've got a good formula. I feel well better at 55.
And we don't want to dwell on the past. We want to look to the future in this little interview. But when you look back on that fight against Alfie Baker, do you see that as purely being the result of a bad weight cut or whatever it was in there? And I guess attached to that, why Louis Fairhurst now as your first fight up at this weight class?
Yeah, no, yeah, it wasn't a good cut. Do you know what I mean? I was, the heat, like the heat exposure, I was thrown up the night before, and after I'd refueled, and the refuel weren't good, the cut weren't good, and even though I thought I performed well in the Alfie fight up until not being able to see, do you know what I mean? So if I'd have got through, I might have stuck at 53, and so it was probably a blessing in disguise. But no, the last fight with Sean Ryan was my first fight at 55, so, and I performed a million times better than I ever expected. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to next week.
Talk to me about Louis Fairhurst as an opponent.
Yeah, well, we've known Louis for a while. Do you know what I mean? We've sparred together a couple of times over the last few years, so I feel like we know each other well. I think it'll make for a good fight next week. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously he's been around a while, but so have I. So be good to see who comes out on top.
Louis, I'm not asking you to spill any sparring stories, but have you seen something in sparring or when you've been training with Alex that makes you think you've got an edge in this fight?
Obviously, sparring is different to fighting. It doesn't show the full story of someone's ability, but there's nothing I'm overly impressed with. There's nothing that puts me off the fight. It's definitely from sparring you can take some stuff, but it's not the full picture. But regardless, I think from the sparring and from everything else I'm seeing and the hard work I'm putting in, I'm confident going into the fight.
Not overly impressed. Alex, are you overly impressed by what you've seen from Louis in training? I knew that'd get a smile out of you.
Nah, look, it's one of them, and sparring's completely different to a fight. So, we're completely differently. We could turn up from when we sparred. Must have been about a year, 18 months ago that we last sparred. So, I'm not expecting the same Louis as there was in them as there was in them sessions, but at the same time, you shouldn't expect the same Alex. Do you know what I mean? So, no, nothing really we're worried about. Do you know what I mean? We've got a good plan, and we've got, plan B, plan C, plan D, whatever we need to do, we'll adapt on the day.
And without divulging that too much, what do you need to do to get the better of Louis Fairhurst?
If I told you that, I'd have to kill you, lad. Yeah, I'm not spilling nothing today. Like, you'll see next week.
Okay, let me flip that then. Where do you think you have the beating of Louis?
Well, I think I'm, like I said, we've both been around a long time, but I think over 5 round A class that I'm more. I think I've had more than Louis. I think I'm a lot more experienced in that sense. Do you know what I mean? So, I've been 5 rounds more than Louis if it needs to go 5 rounds. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not I think I'm the more experienced fighter. So I'll stick with that next week, and it'll show.
And Louis, just before Alex joined this call, we were talking about how busy you are looking to be this year. A great win over Andrew Rioja at Hitman Fight League. What do you think Alex brings differently, and how do you think you get the better of him on the 11th of April?
I don't think necessarily it brings much different. I think Alex is tough and he's experienced, and he's been 5-3s and he's fought a lot of good opponents. But I just think I'm more skillful wherever the fight goes, and I believe in my ability 100%.
You've already got a world title fight booked in after this one. Is there a danger that you're looking past Alex Kenton?
No, definitely not. It's take it one fight at a time, and I respect Alex enough. I've trained really hard for this fight, and it's 100% focus on him, definitely.
Alex, what would beating Louis mean for you at this stage of your career?
Being honest, it's starting to turn into all or nothing now. Do you know what I mean? I'm 26 next month, and Thai boxing's not paying the bills, lads. So it's getting to the point now where it's starting to come now or never for what I want to achieve in this sport. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be. I've told everyone that I've spoken to, I don't want to be, 30 in my 30s getting elbowed in the head for a couple of quid. Do you know what I mean? So it's not an added pressure, but there's an expectation of myself that I go and beat Louis next week, and then we go into bigger things, whether that's international opponents that can get me into the world rankings, or whether it's the number one fight for the number one spot. Either or. I said to the girls the other day when we were doing the media, I'm not looking to defend the rank and go backwards now. I'm only looking upwards.
Talk to me a bit about that, because obviously we know with Muay Thai there is growing finances coming this way through RWS One Championship, and it's a disgrace, frankly, that the domestic scene isn't getting more money coming its way, because we know how hard you guys train, how hard you guys fight. So hopefully, if there are sponsors out there watching this, they do take note and realise what you guys do. When you look at saying this fight is all or nothing, obviously that adds some kind of pressure. But two things, how do you use that pressure to benefit you in training? And does it mean that this fight is treated any differently to other ones?
No, we prepare for fights exactly the same every time. We put pure hard work in the gym, out of the gym. We're disciplined, and we do the things that we've got to do. Do you know what I mean? We work on a plan for 6 to 8 weeks, however long we've got, and we just work hard. So it's no different to any other fight, if I'm being honest. As far as pressure comes, it's not really. It's not really any added pressure. Like I said, it's the only pressure I get is like the pressure I put on myself. Do you know what I mean? And I think I've showed over the years that I've thrived under that pressure. Do you know what I mean? I could retire tomorrow and I've had a better career than 80-90% of the lads who've gone A class. Do you know what I mean? I've been a WBC European champion. I've been world ranked with the WMO and the WBC. I've been a UK number one. Do you know what I mean? And I'm quite proud of that. So we're just looking to build on top of that now.
Louis, talking about pressure, I mean, since the days where Stuart Stables had you under his wing, there's always been pressure on you as a prospect coming out of the UK. To get to where you want to get to in this sport, Alex Kenton is a test that you'll need to pass. What kind of pressure do you feel?
I think similar to what Alex said, there's pressure with every fight. I don't think it necessarily changes any preparation or how your mindset going into any fight. You wanna win every fight you have, but no, just one fight at a time. This is another step to go where I want with my career, and I'm not looking past next weekend.
Not looking past it. Alex has told us what happens if he loses, all or nothing. What happens if you lose this fight?
Doesn't come to my head at all. I don't see me losing at all. I'm 100% confident.
So tell me then, Louis, what happens on the 11th?
I think You know, it depends where the fight goes. Depends what Alex Kenton we get on the night. We've got a plan that we're going to stick to. But like you say, anything can happen in the fight. It's plan A, B, C. So however it goes, it's definitely a win for me.
When you say which Alex Kenton turns up on the night, what do you mean by that?
I think he's fought fights different stylistically ways, like the way he fought Alfie compared to the way he fought like Ellis and like the other fights he's had, and we've looked at them and we'll see how he comes and fights me.
And Alex, tell me, I do the all or nothing thing does add an interesting dynamic to this fight. But when you picture the 11th of April in your head, when you're making that ring walk, what's your prediction for the night?
My only prediction is me walking out of that stadium with a WMO European title around my waist. There's absolutely nothing else comes to mind.
No matter what Louis brings.
No matter what Louis brings.
And obviously that means that you continue your rise through the rankings. Louis, what do you make to that prediction from Alex? Do you think that he's got any chance in this fight?
No, to put it bluntly, I think we're both want to win. We're both gonna say we're gonna win. Of course, we wouldn't be in this fight if we didn't think we were gonna win. But that WMO belt is mine, 100%.
Alex, the Northwest fans are in for a treat either way, right? You always bring the excitement and things like that. That might just be a byproduct of your fighting style, but do you think that this fight guarantees excitement? Are we expecting a bit of a technical thriller? What do you see happening?
Yeah, no, do you know what? It depends. Obviously, it depends on the night. You know, it could be a technical fight. It could just be a full-on brawl in the middle of the ring. You know, do you know what I mean? It depends. It all depends what happens. But I know Louis never really in a boring fight, and I can't remember the last boring fight I had. So whether I'm schooling people or punching their heads in or getting my head punched in, I'm never in a boring fight. So. You know, if I were in Alex Kenton, I'd be buying a ticket to go and watch it.
And Louis, final word from you then. For the fans who haven't yet purchased a ticket, haven't yet bought the stream, why should they tune in for this fight?
Like Alex said, neither of us were never in boring fights, and this one won't be boring either. But unfortunately, he's going to be on the losing end of this one.